When people heard about a black kid being dead and all of his friends was Caucasian, we put two and two together way back then. But his death turned the 4th of July into Cinco de Mayo because the party still hasn't stopped. I'm disgusted with all the news coverage, all of the people in the media, all of the bloggers. It's sort of like they're having parties. They're smiling in their thumbnails about Nolan Wells being dead. I'm making this stream tonight to let y'all know Nolan didn't deserve to go out like this. Not just the alleged murder, but the way people are treating him on social media. It's just disgusting. I want justice for Nolan Wells. There's rumors about his friend Bart taking his life over a young lady named Katie. We all make mistakes. I feel like they need to get rid of Black History Month, get rid of African American history, and we need to just focus on American history so we can all be on the same page, so we can all have an understanding of our flaws in this country, because we got a lot of them. I feel like that will bring a lot of unity to people out here if we all had a clear understanding of American history. Situations like this would have never happened with Nolan Wells if people understood or understand that you can be friends with whoever you want to be friends with, but in order to maintain a healthy relationship with those friends, you got to know what lines to not cross. And obviously, for things to go south like this, there were some lines that was crossed. I'm not making excuses for anybody. Rest in peace to Nolan. I want to give a special prayer to Nolan's family, his real friends, his real loved ones. But he didn't deserve this. And he doesn't deserve what's happening after his passing. People's having way too much fun with his name, making a whole lot of money off of his name without giving him the proper respect. We've all made terrible mistakes. But like you and me, we had time to make up for those mistakes. Nolan will never have a chance to undo his dwellings, but to know the difference, or to have a clear understanding of how racism work, sleeping with your best friend's girlfriend work, or how any of that stuff work. His life was cut too short. But without further ado, I want to get into the details of how he allegedly lost his life. We're about to be talking about Nolan's final moments and how it all came to an end. Let's go ahead and get into it.
My take on the Nolan Wells case, Bart did it. Now, this is allegedly, but I believe that Bart did it. I believe that Bart had some type of relationship with Katie. Katie was obviously with Nolan. Bart had a jealous rage seeing a young black male with a white female. We know in states like Mississippi, I see it all the time in my community, where white guys get jealous to see black guys with white girls. I've seen it a million times, and people who deny this are flat out lying. I believe what happened was that Bart put Nolan in a chokehold, and he didn't realize his own strength, and Nolan did not wake up. Hence the reason why we hear in the background of the CETO call, we hear, "Damn it, Bart, Nolan, wake the fuck up. Is he dead?" All this is allegedly now. Well, if he just accidentally killed him, then why wouldn't they bring him to the police? Because Bart has so much to lose. He was the star football player on his way to the NFL. A manslaughter charge, whether it's involuntary or voluntary or a negligent homicide, is not going to look well on his resume and would obviously disqualify him from his NFL career. Because of his football stardom, and apparently he has a family with the same pedigree, he has clout around town enough to get people to remain silent, enough to help construct an alibi, and also put the fear of God in these kids. Tell them that you're also going to be implicated in this, and we're all going to go down. We're all going to be arrested. Also, why they tried to place Bart not at the scene initially. Now, they went on a speaking tour. Warren did the most talking, and listening to him talk with Officer Tatum, he almost did too much talking and told on the crew. Warren says that when they got the boat back, that he went upstairs to talk to the father of one of the kids rather than hanging out with everybody downstairs. He says that they were talking about boats up there. Now, why would you even bring this up? Like, why would this even be a part of the story if it was such an innocuous thing that you were just going upstairs to randomly talk to a father about boats? The reality is because they weren't talking about boats. They were constructing an alibi and a cover story. And when they came downstairs, it was automatically like, oh, what happened to Nolan? Where is Nolan? Has anybody seen Nolan? Let's call the Coast Guard. Why would they call CETO? Why would they call the Coast Guard? Because it creates a timeline. It creates like a paper trail of where they could have been anywhere but with Nolan. Also, why would you call the Coast Guard if you truly believe that Nolan just was behind with the girl Katie? Even if Katie had came back at that point, why wouldn't you think he's off with some other girl or doing something else? Why would you think something nefarious happened? Why? Because you had his phone and you knew that something nefarious happened. Again, this is allegedly. Let's smoke them out. What doesn't come out in the wash.
This is a safe zone for a lot of people. A lot of people are comfortable having this conversation about Nolan. He flipped his hat to the back to let y'all know that he's down. And he's willing to have this conversation because it's the safest conversation you could have. It's a circus. And that's what makes it so disgusting. For the young people out there listening, it's going to take for an older person like me to put y'all up on game so you can get a clear understanding of how life works for the most part. Karma is real. I don't want to get into details about it, but it does exist. If Nolan's killer don't go to jail, if they walk or whatever the case is, that don't mean that karma is not going to rear its ugly head one way or another. And that's the reason why we got a lot of slow people out here. It's not because they did something wrong, but a lot of times it's karma. That's why we got so many hideous people out here. They have beautiful souls, nice people sometimes, but somebody had to pay. And they still get married, they have kids, and their kids have kids. And before you know it, the whole family looks like Shrek because of something their grandfather or grandmother did 100, 200 years ago. So with this situation with Nolan, I don't think anybody's going to jail behind this because Nolan's parents hired Ben Crump to be the lawyer or attorney or whatever he's supposed to be. They got the NAACP involved. Now the whole Mississippi is riled up, angry and upset because they got Crump on the job. And that's going to keep anybody from going to jail. We're going to move on, man. Nolan didn't deserve this at all. So when you speak about Nolan, when you do blogs or when you have general conversation about Nolan, make sure you put some respect on his name. Don't treat him like he's a basketball game. They're treating Nolan like he's the NBA Finals. They're talking about Nolan like he the Super Bowl. It's disgusting. Let's move on.
Bart and Katie have a romantic history. So guys, remember when they were saying that Nolan just met this girl on the island? Why didn't they mention that they already knew Katie? They never mentioned that they didn't know Katie. Why did Katie feel so comfortable to hang around Nolan? Was she using Nolan to make Bart jealous? The token black kid. Did Nolan not know that this was Bart's girl? Because Bart was at the pool party. Bart was the 21-year-old on the boat. And then Warren made sure to tie in so much footage of that interview he did with Officer Tatum saying that Bart's boat this, Bart did that. Then they came out magically with this picture. See, the CETO audio had been released for a while. Then someone really took their time and examined it and found, hey, there's something incriminating on this audio. The audio went viral. And all of a sudden, we have magical photos from Officer Tatum saying that, oh, this is a picture of their toe. Looking at the picture, who the hell are these kids? They have different outfits on. They don't even look like Eric, who we've never heard of. Eric and Katie are like, nah, I don't want any parts of this. Haven't heard a single thing from them. Katie's sister is floating around that she's spoken for Katie. Where's her statements? Haven't heard or seen any of that. Katie, were you just using Nolan to make Bart jealous? Is that why some female on the boat sounded so careless? Is he dead? Just sounded like, who asked a question like that about something you just witnessed? Something that just happened, as Judge Mathis said. You saw something happen. That call happened after whatever happened to Nolan. Someone probably hit him on the back of the head, strangled him a little bit. Who knows? Then, to put a cherry on top of it all, Officer John Ledbetter, who declared that there was no foul play, 2 days after Nolan's body was found, is in the FBI. No wonder we have been getting nowhere with this case because
Oh no. Oh,
they were trying to tell us, oh, the FBI is involved now. Everything's going to be fine. No, the same cop who was over the case is also in the FBI. The same one who said there's no foul play. Guys, this is the system literally being exposed.
Oh my God.
This is literally white privilege being exposed. Do you know how long this has to have been in play for it to all come together like this?
So Katie played a dirty game with Nolan and had him thinking that he really had a chance. And that got me wondering, was Nolan smooth with the ladies at all? Being on Horn Island with all those eyes watching him, he wouldn't dare make a pass. She really had to put it on Nolan to have him cuckoo enough. Knowing that that's Bart's ex-girlfriend, what did she do or what did she say? If these rumors are true, man, hey, a lot of people implicating Katie and Bart but don't know all of the facts. And that's why Bart's family is suing a lot of people, because there's a bunch of strangers putting things on his name, never met him, don't know the ins and outs of what happened that night, don't know his character. People don't know who Katie is or her character or whatever, but they're still passing judgment on this young lady. And she's probably as sweet as pie, Mississippi pie. And they're trying to make it seem like she's a Jezebel or whatever the case is. But Nolan is dead. And that's why it's open season on Bart and all the other kids involved. Because it's either they come out and tell the truth, or people are going to have room to allegate and speculate however they want to. I mean, I got some allegations and some speculations about the situation, but out of respect for Nolan, I'm just going to let it be. I want to see him get some justice, but the first justice he could possibly get is his mother humbling herself and staying off of social media. That will make people feel like, okay, there's a chance for some hope. But as long as his mom is happy with her boo bears and she's getting better day by day, people are checking his mother's progress. And she's progressing very well through this whole situation. And if his mama is all right, I'm talking about the woman that brought him into this world, not his girlfriend, not his dad, not his brothers, not his sisters, his relatives or whatever. If his mother is all right enough to get on social media and chat it up with the Boo Bears, nobody's really concerned about it if she's not really concerned about it. And with that being said, let's move on.
To all be swept under the rug. You can't just have, like, this is the thing, you can't just have one black person who is a judge who could call these shots without knowing the sheriff, without knowing the coroner, without knowing the doctors in that town. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's so deeply embedded. And where were these photos weeks ago? Nolan was killed on July 4th. So it's July 29th, 28th. around that time when these photos, after we heard you guys call Nolan's name on the boat, which is
Okay, so I don't know what's so funny or what she's laughing about. That's got me feeling uncomfortable. Let's move on. Like I said earlier, people are having way too much fun with this thing. It's way too entertaining. You could see all of their teeth. You would have thought they was at Disneyland talking about Nolan. They're excited. They're jumping up and down. Another brother's dead. And the whole world is rejoicing. We're going to move on. Matter of fact, let's do it right now. Come on.
We know that Nolan was with them when they left. So why do they have the security cams from that morning, but not that night? Whose grandparents live there? Jax Patalo, whose family owns a pharmacy. It goes back deeper than that because George Patalo Sr., which is Jax's great-grandfather who is deceased, as it turns out, his great-grandfather was appointed and served on the staff of Mississippi Governor Cliff Finch. As you can see, I've confirmed Jax's relation to him. And as it turns out, Cliff Finch, well, he was in the Mississippi House of Representatives from 1960 to 1964 and supported racial segregation and backed the racist governor, to preserve segregation in the state. The federal grand jury conducted a 3-year-long investigation into his administration and several state agencies, and they were all accused of corruption and mismanagement. Finch was never found guilty himself, but some of his aides and appointees were indicted. And
It was a ghost that possessed Bart. Those kids didn't know no better. His great-great-grandfather jumped into him at that moment when he was allegedly choking Nolan. This is not the X-Files, but people are putting all types of conspiracies together. And if that theory is true, for you men out there, how many times one of your ancestors jumped into you in certain moments of your life? What about that chick you don't find attractive, but you kept pursuing her? You don't know, she looked like a frog. You in her room, y'all talking, and the next thing you know, you handling that business. You got a look of disgust on your face. What if that was your ancestor Reggie and she just so happened to be his type? And for you ladies out there, you don't know how in the hell you had a baby with that man. You don't even find your baby father attractive. You hate him. You never liked him. But one thing led to another. You don't know how. What if that was your ancestor Gladys that took over in the heat of passion and made you get it in with your baby dad? Since we talking conspiracies and spiritualisms and things, this woman's talking like his great racist not that he's a racist, but he got racist family ties. And during the moment when Nolan was allegedly squeezing Katie's cheeks in front of his friends, they all snapped. They're trying to cast this young man in the next Gladiator movie. He got the chin, the jaw, all that. They want him to play Achilles in the movie. So if he go to jail now, they're going to have to wait for Joaquin Phoenix to get the plastic surgery. We got to move on, y'all. And for the people out there watching, make sure y'all hit that like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. I want to run that back a little bit because that was extremely interesting. Listen at this.
grandparents live there? Jax Patalo, whose family owns a pharmacy. It goes back deeper than that because George Patalo Sr., which is Jax's great-grandfather who is deceased, as it turns out, his great-grandfather was appointed and served on the staff of Mississippi Governor Cliff Finch. As you can see, I've confirmed Jax's relation to him. And as it turns out, Cliff Finch, well, he was in the Mississippi House of Representatives from 1960 to 1964 and supported racial segregation and backed the racist governor, to preserve segregation in the state. The federal grand jury conducted a 3-year-long investigation into his administration and several state agencies, and they were all accused of corruption and mismanagement. Finch was never found guilty himself, but some of his aides and appointees were indicted. And those sort of political connections seem to trickle down through the generations, so now we know why the governor got involved. And I started looking into the lawyer that's handling the defamation case from the Bart family. So from 2015 to 2018, he was state director of Americans for Prosperity. Then in 2018 to 2020, he was vice president of Stand Together while being vice president of Americans for Prosperity. Stand Together is a Charles Koch nonprofit, and Americans for Prosperity is a libertarian conservative political advocacy group affiliated with Charles Koch and David Koch. And if you don't know who the Koch brothers are, they're evil. Guess who's one of the major funders for Turning Point USA? Major donors for the Koch brothers also are primary financial pillars for Turning Point USA, specifically their campus operations. And guess who used to serve as the director of urban engagement?
If you tell
This fat motherfucker, he did what now? She went through all that just to point out that they hired an African on YouTube? Wait a minute. What type of rabbit hole? I mean, so what? They racist. They in Mississippi. She ain't tell me nothing that I'm surprised about. And they all got money. We figured that much. And they've been kicking it since the saloon days. We understand that part. We want to know who killed Nolan. That's the part we want to get around to. And they're saying, allegedly, that it was Bart over Katie. And that sounds about right. But if that's the case, this is another Emmett Till situation, you guys. So Nolan's history, Nolan's story, his story is history. So Nolan is a repetition of something that's been going on for a long time. So therefore, Nolan's situation is the norm. If it didn't change then, why would it change now? And why would it change in the future? When Malcolm X told his story, he talked about them white gals and his adventures with the beautiful Caucasian queens. He did some hard time for that, and eventually that led him to the Nation of Islam, and that's why you got so many hardcore, militant, Afrocentric brothers that got it out for the man, but got a soft spot for Judy. But Nolan didn't have the chance to become militant. He didn't have the chance to experience racism firsthand and pull a Colin Kaepernick when he got into the NFL. Y'all need to listen at this. Oh, they some slow king of the hill ass kids, y'all. The fuck they feeding them kids in Mississippi? Now, I know pork got a lot of worms in it, but somehow it seemed like those maggots made it to their brains. Is he dead? Yeah, he's dead. I figure it need to be a 35 and up limit on snuff. Ain't no way those teenagers should be chewing tobacco. Not sounding like that. Wait a minute. Yeah, he dead.
Hey, we're at the West Tip of...
And that's the real dumbass on the phone. That one right there on the phone, he's the real idiot. He was in slow motion. He must have popped a perk before he called. What was they on? Wait a minute.
porn and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Oh! Listen, up!
So that was Bart. He sounded like he wants some more. Like he ain't already did enough. Don't choke that boy out talking about get up, get the fuck up. Like he want to go some more. You don't kill the motherfucker, Bart. Allegedly. His nickname was No No. She's hot. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Everything no with Nolan. I can sure use a slice of your grandpa's pound cake. No, 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 no. No, no, no. They called him No No. No matter whatever privilege he thought he could have just by being around him. No, 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 no. This is sick. No No's really dead.
Hey, porn and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Shut up! Shut the f*** up!
Mm-mm.
What'd you say?
You know, if that's
Oh, Bart got them motherfuckers whipped, y'all. They scared of Bart. Tat, tat, tat. What the fuck, man? They shooken the Bart. They witnessed him allegedly kill somebody with his bare hands. He said, damn it, Bart. He got the juice now. What the hell? This is sick. And you figure people this young shouldn't be doing stuff like this. And that's why somebody got to talk to the youth, to get through to the youth and let them know, hey, if there's anything going on, find an adult to talk to, or have an adult. Adults need to be present in situations like this. I don't know who loaned them the boat or whatever. They're saying it was one of the grandfathers, and he's the one that called the lifeguards and told them, oh, don't go out there with the police because it was his boat. He need to be held accountable because they shouldn't even have been out there on that boat unsupervised. I believe Bart was the 21-year-old, but he was the one doing the most, according to this tape. You know, this is some sad stuff. We're going to move on a little bit and come back around to this because I got to take a breather, man. Nolan Wells didn't deserve this at all. They got footage of him on the beach allegedly with some young queens. Now, they're tanned and everything. But Nolan was walking behind everybody, getting a clear view of what was going on. And that's one of the things that pissed Bart off. Horny on Horn Island. And this is not a 007 movie. Rest in peace. Oh, this is so sad. So sad that it had to turn out like this. And his mother, she's mourning. His mother, y'all stay tuned. I gotta share something. Oh my God. For crying out loud.
Hey, Boo Bears. Let me say this. My husband and I are going to continue to advocate. I know so many people are like, oh my God, you need to stay off social media. You need to give it a break. Well, just know I'm not on social media all day. I'm not. I've been heavy in my Kindle. And then, of course, too, I have other children that I take care of. But occasionally I do pop on. Most of the time I just post, come off. But trust and believe that I'm doing the things I need to do to take care of my mental. And sometimes posting does feel nice because I get to check in with my different Boo Bears and see how everyone is doing. But if you have an issue with me advocating and asking questions, I don't think I'm the problem, babe. I think you're the problem. I think you need to take a step back and ask yourself, why are you so triggered? Or what is
No, I need everybody to take a step back and imagine if that was your mother on social media with Keisha Cole in the back speaking nonchalantly about your death, working with Ben Crump, taking in donations, deep off into her Kindle, maintaining her mental, and speaking with her boo bears. How would you feel about your mother if she was online with the boo bears in her Kindle, hair, nails on fleek, flawless, boo-woo? How would you feel? Imagine your mother, rollers in her hair, Keisha Cole, Beyonce mix in the background, feeling real jazzy over there, and take a little bit of time to talk to her boos, and you dead. And no disrespect to Nolan's mother. The only reason why I made this video is to let y'all know that he didn't deserve any of this, man. Officer Tatum at home waiting on his wake-up call, and when he get it, it might be from his wife. We don't know if it's going to be this week, next week, but eventually Officer Tatum is going to be singing a different tune, and he's going to be with a different woman, and 9 times out of 10, she's going to look like India Irie 2.0 when he finally come back home. The holidays are getting ready to come up. Nolan is not going to be at the Halloween party. He's not going to be at the Thanksgiving. He's not going to be there for Christmas. New Year's there's no more Nolan, you know? So for the people out there that's finding entertainment in all of this, just stop for a second and think if it was you. How would you feel if the world turned your untimely demise into a circus? But most importantly, what if this was your mama?
Causing you to be so upset that I am asking for answers. That is it. That is all. Never asked for special treatment, none of that. But there are just a lot of people who's bothered. But what I will tell you is that there are a lot more people who, despite the nasty negative narratives that are trying to be thrown out there, there's a lot of other people supporting me and my husband Elmore, and we just appreciate that. You know, just as parents losing a child, I'm telling you, y'all, it hits different. My mom passed away. It's going to be 8 years, and this hurt, I've said this in another video, this hurt is different. This is like a soul wrenching hurt. Like, you feel like your heart is just being ripped out. Like, I don't even know if that's even a good way to describe this hurt, but yeah. But I just want to say thank you guys. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, thank you so much. Thank you to all the content creators who...
No. Ain't no thank you to no content creators. They're not doing you any favors, young lady. And I could say that. I'm grandpa's status. There's no content creators doing you any favor. Content creators are doing themselves a favor. If anything, content creators are making the situation worse. Because when it goes to court and they got to sort through the evidence, Officer Tatum is going to pop up. They're going to be playing Tatum in the damn courtroom. The damn Tissa Tell's gonna pop up in the courtroom. They might invite her to court. That's what you call a circus. These people wasn't there, ain't never even been to Mississippi, and damn sure don't plan on going. It's all here. You can't thank somebody for hearsay when you're trying to get real answers. That's like throwing Bart a Hail Mary. He scored a touchdown, home free. He ain't going to jail. Not with his mother in the... Man, you know what? I'm going to leave her alone because she's doing the best she can. And like I like to remind people, she's a new age mom. She not your original big back mom. She'll be damned before she get a big back. If she was a big back mom, She would have skipped Ben Crump and went to Oprah Winfrey or Gayle King or somebody. She would have turned it into a sexual assault allegation against her on somebody famous. So she would have figured out another way to get a bag. I'm gonna get her off the screen. Let's move on. Let's focus here on Nolan and his habits, allegedly, what he was into, what he was around. Nolan was confused. It was either that or he was way too comfortable. And I think it's a mix of both. He should have been looking at the sand. I know it's 2026 and you can get on your phone and see a little bit of everything. It ain't nothing cheek for cheek, tap for tap, lick for lick. I'm old, so I'm just trying to keep up with the modern lingo. I'm just trying to, kick it with I'm trying to get jiggy with the younger audience for once. Nolan was in a compromising situation. And I know I don't like to cry like that. But some things are just so sad to where if you don't shed a tear, you're not even human at this point, Listen at this and tell me if this don't make you feel away.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working.
Oh, I know his grandfather whooped his ass for sitting on the phone like that, dumbfounded, with a beer in his hand. And the operator heard everything. They clamped up the tape. It took for a sister to come out and unmuffle the muffles so people can get an understanding of what was on the tape. If it wasn't for that sister, she was in there, look, she was cleaning up the audio. They had no choice but to release this audio to the public because they're implicated in the situation. So when they did release it, they muffled all that stuff out, thinking that nobody would, all they would hear is the conversation on the phone because that wasn't damaging at all. But when this queen went ahead and unfiltered, she put the tech to it. And that's how technology can help in so many ways. People want to say technology is the devil, in which it is. But it can also be an angel when used in the right hands or for the right purposes. People do amazing things with technology. People, they pay their bills with technology. They send money. They do all types of amazing things with technology. And what she did with this audio was nothing less than a miracle, because we would have never heard. And that's if this isn't AI or alter. You don't know what to trust. You can't believe your ears. You can't believe your eyes. You can't even believe your tongue with all this fake meat out here. They got dildo steak in the store. You don't know what it's all fake meat. But it's a possibility this could be the real deal.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Yeah.
Bart going to jail. They say he's suing people because they keep mentioning his name, but Bart is all over the tape. But they're trying to say Bart is cleared. A lot of black people in Mississippi, they're going hard for Bart. They don't want to see him go to jail. Look at this, y'all. I know I played this earlier, but I gotta run this back because a lot of people want to take up for Bart because he's a big shot around there in that town. So let's get a clear understanding of the climate of Mississippi real fast before we move forward. There's a lot of people out there that don't want to see Bart go to jail. And it's a possibility Bart didn't have anything to do with anything. At this point in history, we don't know what's real. You know what I'm saying? Keep that in mind. Let's get into this.
Here's a lot of things that the people in the back of the room don't know. Yes, us locals, we are privy to a lot of things because we know these people. I gave Nolan his first haircut. I know his parents. Been knowing him for years. Been knowing his mom since she was like in high school. I'm real good friends with her family. So here's the deal. When that video came out, and you hear them people on there talking that lady dug up and went and researched and brought up the sounds. The truth is this: if that video is legit, it's a few people in trouble. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. Now see, this is the stuff that you gotta wait for. This type of evidence, right? Now, I'm gonna help you out here. Alright? I hear Bart and them parents are suing. Bart's name was mentioned on the video. Okay? Well, I asked one of his friends, who was a black guy, about Bart a few days ago. And they said that Bart was cleared already. And according to the black people, they cleared Bart. I don't even know if the police cleared Bart. But it sounds like the black people that's involved cleared Bart. They said Bart ain't had nothing to do with it. But Bart's name is all over that tape. But if these black guys are telling the truth, then guess what? You see why his daddy's suing. And that's what I'm saying, people. You can't just be so quick to just do this type stuff, man. This stuff take time, bro. Investigation. I'm gonna tell you something, man. By the time it's all said and done, half of Ocean Springs might be going to prison, or half of Ocean Springs might be going on a vacation. You don't know yet. So just chill. And like I said, I know these people. I know they family. All right, we all been knowing each other. So ain't nobody on here taking up for nobody. I'm not looking out. I'm not looking out for nobody on here. I'm only speaking what I think is best to be spoken to keep the peace until the facts come out.
You know what? Y'all hear that, man? And I want to elaborate on that a little bit so we can all be on the same page. When it comes to small communities and small towns and small cities where everybody know everybody, they're going to try to figure out a way to stick together because that's all they know. Racism or not, or whatever the situation may be, people fight, people have quarrels. They try to handle things within their own communities. And now that it made national news, they feel like it's nobody's business. And they want to keep it like that. They want to keep their town the way it is, or the way it's been since forever. They're not trying to have any changes around there. And I want to share with y'all why they don't want to have major changes in Mississippi. That's because a lot of the black residents are comfortable. And that explains why Nolan was where he was at, with who he was with because the comfort level is at an all-time high, and people don't want to mess that comfort up. That man said he knows the families of the people. They all know each other down there. When Mr. James come through the drugstore, they're waving, you know. It's the old South, regardless of how y'all may feel about it. Listen at this man so y'all can get an understanding of what's going on.
Hey, I'm glad to be here with you. Just to clarify something, the Cutting With, that's my social media name, Cutting With E. So you could
we ain't doing all that. Let's just get straight to it.
He went up to Mississippi State, and so I knew he was gonna be a stellar athlete. You know what I'm saying? His dad working with him every day the way he was. You know, everybody that come through his dad's training and stuff like that, all be pretty good athletes. You know, and Nolan wasn't no difference. He was good. He was a great athlete. Had NFL potential, man. Had the right size and everything.
Yeah. So what is it like there? Wait, hold on. Before I get there, do you know the other kids involved? Do you know some of the friends?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead. How do you know them?
Well, with the recent ones that was on like TMZ, I spoke with him Friday night. I know one of the white guys and one of the pitchers, where it's quite a few of them, not one of the three on the boat. They were all.
Wait a minute. See, stop it right there. You chopping it up with somebody on a Friday night, y'all talking business, and now he's on camera? After the other one just got off of TMZ, he got the hookup. Now he's prime time, making waves, and somebody pulls some strings to get his take, as long as he's going along with the narrative, in which he is. They got advocates to keep Nolan from getting real justice. So when you hear somebody from Mississippi speaking that's connected to them, just know that they're all working to keep this situation from being solved, or to keep it from being handled the way it should be handled. Okay, we're going to move on a little bit. We'll come back to that. But there's some things that we got to discuss before we do that. Okay, check this out.
All right, y'all, listen. I had to jump on here and give y'all the update of what's going on with Nolan Wells' case. Now, I've been wrecking my brain with all these different stories, right? Because nothing was adding up and nothing was making sense to me. But I told y'all we getting real close, and I'm telling you now, they're not finna get away with this. I promise you that. So check it out. Y'all remember on the boat, the phone call that was just exposed. Y'all remember when they cleared everything up, we heard, "Oh shit, Bart." Y'all remember that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now follow me. And then you heard in the background somebody say, "Oh no, is he dead?"
Mm-hmm.
A woman's voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to this. Like I said, I believe Bart and Nolan got into a scuffle over Katie, which I'm coming back around to her.
Mm-hmm.
And Bart, I'm not saying he meant to do it. I think he didn't understand that he went too far. And Nolan did not wake up, because remember, in the voice on the call, we heard, "Oh shit, what'd you do, Bart? Wake up. Wake the fuck up, Nolan." All these things we heard. So put it all together is making clear sense.
Oh, no. I didn't know black people had a duck dynasty. What's going on with these people? I could see if they lived in Philadelphia or something, but Mississippi brothers with beards, they duck dynasty. A fucking chicken dynasty, what they got going on. He connected all those dots. And a lot of people are connecting dots in this case. And it's all saying the same thing. But it's their word against our word. And since none of us was there, then 9 times out of 10, they're going to take their word for it. For all you bloggers and people on the internet leaving comments with opinions, you're not going to change the situation just because of how you see it on the internet. And to believe what you hear and see on the internet in the first place, that let people in law know that you don't got it all to begin with to be taken seriously. They understand that. So when they do make it to court, as far as the public is concerned, logic is all the way out the window. You can't depend on the public senses to clear anything up. Y'all seen T.I.'s son dressed up like one of the Pokemons and he got arrested for smoking weed and he was in the back of the cop car talking about he's a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. People crazy out here. So when it comes to murder cases, you have to leave it to the professionals. But money talks. And since there's so much money being generated and people able to pay their bills and buy gas, the economy is booming off of Nolan Wells alone. So what's the rush in bringing justice to this kid when the public is having such a good damn time with it? As if it's not a real life situation. People is treating this like this is a soap opera or something. And that's why I said in this video, I titled the video, Nolan didn't deserve this, because he don't deserve any of it. It's all disrespectful at the end of the day to use this man for bait so you can scrape up some cash to shop on Black Friday. Okay, let's move on. Y'all listening? Here we go. No, we're not doing it. Hold on, wait a minute. Bart is on his way to the NFL, y'all. Ocean Springs, Mississippi. He on his way. He about to be the next time. Bart gonna go on to win about 4, 5, 6 Super Bowls. And when he out there passing the ball, the commentators, they're gonna be speaking on the Nolan Wells case. Well, Bart and Emerson, he got caught up in that Nolan Wells case a couple of years ago. Yeah, about an incident on the boat. He was cleared, and now he's off playing with the fucking Dallas Cowboys. He's such a great athlete, and if that situation didn't go the way it went, we probably wouldn't be able to experience these games today. I know, he's such a great guy, and his grandfather owns the company. That's how they're going to be talking when they're commentating over his football games. Look at his chin. They not, man, he got a Call of Duty fucking Gears of War chin. They not letting him go to waste, damn it. They'll be damned. Bart going to the NFL, regardless of how y'all feel about it. Okay, listen at this.
Nolan's former teammate and college punter Bart Edmondson has come straight under suspicion because in the background of the emergency call, a girl's terrifying scream of, "Oh my God," and the voice, "Damn it, Bart." The situation has become so serious that Bart's family has hired high-profile lawyer Russ Latino, who is filing major defamation lawsuits against those spreading rumors on the internet. Meanwhile, Bart's mother maintains that her son is innocent. Nolan's former teammate and...
Hold on, I hope I don't get a call from Mr. Latino. I don't even speak Spanish. What the fuck I'm gonna tell him? That is not Bart on the thumbnail. That ain't even Nolan on the thumbnail. That is AI on that damn thumbnail. That's what I'm gonna tell him. And I don't believe Bart had anything to do with it because it could be AI. And why would his name be so prominent in the tape unless somebody was targeting him or whatever? I don't know. You know, they got money. Me, not so much. Nobody even hit the like button. It's over a million people watching the video. Nobody's even leaving comments. I'm not the guy you want to sue. I'm just letting the world know that, Nolan didn't deserve to go out like that. Nobody does. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it all on her. Listen to this. Yeah, call her. If she can't afford a bra or no draws, then maybe she'll give up a little something if she ain't got the money while she dancing the Damn It Bart. I'm waiting for the Bart Simpson t-shirts to come out. It's already a circus. They got songs out. Look at this.
Shut up! Shut the fuck up! What'd you say? Hey. Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
Bart gangsta. Let's move on, y'all. Because this is some more stuff. Look at this.
All right, so we really don't always have opinions on things that be going on. We like to just stay to ourselves. But when it comes to the Nolan Wells case, not only did we do our own due diligence on it, but also looking at all the videos of Nancy Grace and everything that's being let out right now. And from common sense, if you look at it,
this is Nolan Wells' mother's Boo Bears. And I figured I should show them some love since she's always mentioning them. Her Boo Bear's been holding her down and they don't get enough credit. So we just gonna give them some time.
Whoever this dude Bart is, that's the one that did it.
Bart did it.
Bart did it. They never wanted to say his name on any interviews, on anything that come down to the police investigations. They tried to protect Bart. Bart was 21 years old, of age. He's there. It's a lot of drinking. I know you got with them type people, cocaine, weed, all that's there. And who's gonna get in trouble for all that? Bart, 21-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also, Bart was on the football team with Nolan as well.
Mm-hmm.
Nolan, if you're here, he was a star athlete. So he had a lot of accolades. You see his TikToks. He did a lot of TikTok dancing. He was really popular in school. So what can piss off? If you have two people on a football team, you have one star player, what could piss off the other player? If the other player is a kicker.
Put him and his dad. His dad
If he's
also.
a kicker. And what pissed him off and made him just out of rage, Nolan probably called him a kicker in front of all his friends. That pissed him off. But here's the thing. Not only Bart need to go down, everybody need to go down. They have a super team of cover-up. You got Jerry Ackerson, which is Wyatt's granddad. He's the one that owns the boat. Wyatt and those kids are calling frantic, talking about they sinking, but Jerry calls the chief, what is this? The
Coast Guard.
The chief tow captain.
No, tow.
Personally on his cell phone, telling him, "No, don't go. Really, but your grandson's in the middle of the ocean, he's sinking. So why wouldn't you want to send him? Because he got a call at the same time too. Then on the phone, why is the phone on the phone with Coast Guard and report at the same time? The granddad's on the phone with the captain at the same time. That makes no sense. You got Cajun Navy. The whole Cajun Navy is in on it too. How first like they go look, they don't see a body, and they go back to the same spot, they see a body.
This Mississippi talking, y'all, just in case y'all ain't know. These Mississippi black folks spin on the case. They already got it figured out. The grapevine is right there. They already heard it. They're talking in Mississippi. But at the same time, what they gonna do besides talk about it? Because don't nobody got enough money to go up against the Barts and all the people that's involved. There's a lot of money involved in the case. So people can feel how they want to feel about it. Rightfully so. But if you don't got the dough to go up against these people, if you can't go lawyer for lawyer, then I don't think they have a problem with you talking too much, because there's nothing you can really do. to stop them or to bring justice situation. Listen at this.
George, listen to what Officer Tatum told me. Back to Officer Tatum, star of The Officer Tatum on YouTube. Have the friends taken polygraphs?
Well, from my understanding, all but I believe one took a polygraph, and what was told to me that they all passed. And all of the ones that took a polygraph took one without a lawyer. And they cooperated with law enforcement. So my understanding, everybody took
How do you say
polygraph
that's
tests
from
but
what
one.
you understand? Did they tell you they took a polygraph?
Yes, ma'am. They told me that they did it. I wasn't there. So that's why I'm saying I understand. They told me that all the boys except one, which is Warren, I believe, took a polygraph test. All of them did not have lawyers and did it and cooperated with police. Warren also cooperated with police. I just believe he didn't take a lot to take the test, but Warren is the young man that I interviewed. So according to what they told me, they all took a lie detector test and passed. And it's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's not a traditional lie detector test, but it's the same theology of trying to get to if a person is lying. I don't know the name of it. It's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's a different methodology. I don't believe it was a polygraph test. I believe they took other stressors in order to...
He just said it was a polygraph test. Now he's saying it was something that they ain't take no damn polygram or nothing. It ain't even that deep, especially in Mississippi. They're not going to twist their arms about Nolan. The heat ain't even on like that for those kids. Soon as they heard about Nolan and Katie, motherfucking case closed. Soon as they heard what Katie did and Bart got pissed, next thing you know, Bart sitting in front of a big plate with a big steak on it with an even bigger potato. That a boy. Like, ooh, I knew he had it coming. Hey, Bart, with your bad ass. Oh, there we go. Bart, hey, how you doing, buddy? Shit, Bart get it popping in their community. And according to this guy, all the black people is on board with Bart. And hey, let me say this again. I don't believe Bart. This is entertainment at this point. There is no facts. Keep that in mind. Because a lot of people hear stuff like this and you got a heart full of rage and you hear this, you never met Bart. A lot of y'all don't even know what Bart looked like. But you got all this hatred towards Bart. Just keep in mind, this is entertainment at this point. There is no proof or no nothing. These are allegations and speculations. But the black people in their town, by the sounds of it, they're riding with Bart.
All in a collective group there. And me and his father, we're very good friends. We get up and have lunch about 2 or 3 times a week currently. And it's a gumbo. Everybody, white people try their best to not ruffle the feathers of black people, and black people try their best not to ruffle the feathers of white people for the majority of it. So when Ben Crump come to this town and start saying things like that, he's alienating these people and he's getting pushback now. That's why he's getting all this pushback. And it's going to me, it's hurting the whole entire investigation, which is why he's probably not getting a lot of help from people. To me, that's the deal. You cannot come in here and tell us how racist we are. Well, these people showing you how they hate you doing that type of stuff in our community, and he's going to get this type of pushback that he's getting.
Okay, can I jump in here?
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, look, I'm from Louisiana, so I know there's lots of mix. I mean, we are all that's what Creole and mulatto is about. We've been mixing it up. We invented mixing it up in Louisiana.
Which
So I
is
understand
true.
what you're saying, but that doesn't end racism. Sometimes it heightens it, right? Because then there's a hierarchy, and then there's colorism, and then people say, well, I can't be racist because I'm married to a white person or whatever, or I'm married to a black person, and we know that that's not true. The other thing that sounds like, though,
wait a minute. Thank you, Don Lemon. There's a hierarchy in these type of situations. There's a buffer class. And that's the most heartbreaking thing, when you have blacks that treat others better because of skin tone or whatever. And it'd be the darkest of us that treat people better based on skin tone, even within the black community, until they open their mouth a lot of times. So I want to shout out Don Lemon for pointing that out.
And I just want to put this here. I'm not trying to insult you. It's like, it kind of sounds like back in the civil rights movement when people would say these outside agitators are coming here and telling us what to do, and we don't want race mixing here. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I understand how people may feel, but sometimes, I just want you to take this into account. Sometimes it takes, and I'm not saying they're doing this, but just to think about this, sometimes it takes someone who comes from the outside to hold up a mirror so that you can see what's happening. Because sometimes you're too close for the forest to see the trees.
He don't want to stop the race mixing. He don't want to stop what's going on with black men and white women and white women with black men. And if the Nolan case can jeopardize that for him and other blacks in Mississippi, then they'll do everything in their power to sweep this under the rug. That's why Officer Tatum is involved and felt the need to risk it all just to get involved with this case to clear them boys, because if it's about interracial relationships, then he got a lot to lose. His future is in jeopardy. These brothers is all for it. And so what? Nolan got taken out. He's just a casualty. And that goes to show that black men in America has had it up to here. Not all, but a lot of brothers, they not trying to deal with the sisters at all. They rather risk it than to take care of what they already, But not this couple, though. They keeping it all the way real. If they got to struggle together, then they just going to struggle.
It made no sense. If I was Ben Crump, I wouldn't take their cadaver dogs either. I wouldn't trust them either. Then you also got Dr. Stacey Turner. Dr. Stacey Turner, not only has she quickly just ruled this no foul play, but also look at all her other ones that she did too when it comes to young black men. Everybody's ruled no foul play.
And just to throw this in there, she became chief of examiner in 2 years.
In 2 years.
Of working for them.
In 2 years. Look like she's willing to do somebody dirty work to me. Okay? Then you got Sheriff Ledbetter. Sheriff Ledbetter family been the sheriff of that town since 1960 something. That is the Ledbetter town. Okay, you see how smug he is when you talk about this? He don't care about this, okay? He's botching investigations, all right? The internet do a way better job investigating than this man do. You got Judge Ashley Cole, the judge. She can throw off anything legally. She know how to coach anybody when it comes down to legal terms and stuff like that.
And the hotline.
How?
Man, I love my Mississippi people, man. Some of the best people in the world right there in Mississippi. They got to do what they got to do to survive. Cornbread ain't never taste so good. Rest in peace to Nolan Wells. And all the people out there interracially dating, be careful. Trench coats need to go on sale. Y'all all need trench coats and hoodies. If you're gonna have your lady come through, tell her to put on that trench coat. She ain't gotta have nothing on underneath, but damn it, cover up them legs and get her some gloves. Get her a braided wig if she gonna be coming through to spend some time. Ain't nobody gotta know. Keep that on the down low. For all the Caucasian men dealing with black women, don't come around with that Doogie Howser hairdo. Get your John B. swag together. Don't come around here looking like Rick Astley. If you're gonna be dating a sister, get you some smooth Timberland boots or something. Let them niggas know what time it is. It gotta be some changes around here, man. Nolan didn't deserve this. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this in the comment section. And I want to say once again, the reason why I made this video is because we gotta do better when it comes to Nolan Wells. This is not a party. Like I said earlier, he turned the 4th of July into Cinco de Mayo. People drinking and having a blast on Nolan's behalf. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. They all arm in arm. Don Lemon, Brandon Tatum, D.L. Hughley, Poetic Flacco, Tissa Tells, Trent Out Loud, all of them. They just celebrating, right? They having a blast. Nolan is paying the tab. It's sickening, man. So, Nolan, I know you out there, you watching all this, and I know you shaking your head, brother. But just know, Shawn Blazington mean this sincerely when I say R.I.P. Rest in peace, rest in power, and rest in paradise to Nolan Wells. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this in the